Heading back to Castor Wilds, we now have our Pegasus boots. And that means we can get across the gunk.
These boots were made for running.
Not much else they can do.
One of these days, I'm gonna get gunk in my shoe.
There we go. Oh boy. Don't worry about getting stuck in the gunk too much. You have the ability to move around and change your direction, and then you can press the Pegasus Boots button again, and you'll start running, and you'll pop out of the gunk again.
We said it earlier when we popped in here, but this is some good music. Now that we get to hear the whole track, I love it. It's got a little callback to the Legend of Zelda theme in there, too.
Unfortunately, I can't poke in the air yet.
Hey, that statue's kind of creepy.
Just saying. I always wondered why Nintendo decided that Eastern music means swamp or volcano.
Right, I feel like this would match a little better with the desert area. Kind of has that almost Middle Eastern vibe. Or maybe African. It's got a kind of a maybe Northern African. I don't know. I'm getting way too into this. Yeah, so the swamp has a lot of grass to cut. Thorn.
Yeah, it also has a lot of thorns. Basically, this is my place. It's another dude. Yep, he pretty much spoils what item we get here. We don't get the bow in the dungeon, we get it here in the swamp.
Yay. It's in the gunk somewhere, you gotta find it.
I always like the bow and arrow. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it's because, like, when I play FPSs, I'm just inherently a sniper. Like, no matter what, if I'm using a pistol, I'm gonna snipe from a distance.
Well, I feel like in the Zelda series, at least, the bow and arrow has always been a good weapon.
Yeah.
So, it's just a nice thing to have.
They've never really found a way to screw it up.
We'll say aiming's a little awkward on that M64 controller, though.
Yeah.
That wasn't really Zelda's fault, though.
Best way to get through this little path is just to go all the way to the left. Nope.
No! Now you start over the whole thing. Oh, okay.
Oh no!
They're having a party! We can't have that.
Break it up, break it up.
We got a noise complaint, boys.
Officer Gunkel. There we go. Didn't have to wait long to get it.
Boy, that was easy.
The bow and arrow's not super powerful, sadly, but what the hell.
Too bad it's Minish sized, so when you're grown up.
We've seen the world's smallest violin. No, I would have thought these guys are Armos. They're not, they're a different enemy, called Igors, which is disconcerting. But there are Armos in this game.
Yes. They're kind of cool, too. It's a really different way to do Armos. Eslo's face.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. This is bad for my guts.
I think it was more just a face of reservation, like, this is my life now.
Body always did say I was full of hot air.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Dig your own grave. This is the dead brother.
I don't know if we want a technique of the guy who died.
Maybe it's like their dad or something.
I'm gonna teach you how to ghost phase through walls.
This is the last one.
He gives you the very last technique.
You do have some control when you're doing the Pegasus run, but not too much. You can slightly go down. And the bow and arrow can be used against P-hats. Kills them instantly, but they move around so much.
The snake took 2 hits from the bow, so they're obviously stronger.
Yeah. Well, that and the arrows aren't that strong. They're about as strong as a regular sword hit.
Yeah. Some games make the bow and arrows a lot stronger, but this one's not one of them. Oh boy, is Ezlo gonna be baffled? Yep. I'm so rattled.
That's one way to show you need the sword equipped in order to do the dash attack. Now that rock's in the way, but luckily we can kinstone fuse with statues. This is the first instance of golden kinstones, and like we mentioned earlier, these are story-specific.
Yeah, you can't miss them.
So now I just gotta go around and find the treasure chests where they're hidden. This feels a lot like us going up Mount Crenel.
Yeah.
Which I think I said was a hat. I actually think it's like a rampart of a castle.
There we go. I'm gonna wait for one of these guys.
It's the Dark Nuts. These guys are pretty tough to fight, mostly just because it's hard to get a hit on them.
I really like these guys in this game. Like, it's actually a tough fight, and I think it's so cool. You're like, if you really feel like you're dueling with a knight when you fight these guys in this game.
Basically, you want them to run at you from like the other side of the room, so you have time to go up to them. But other than that, they're pretty self-explanatory.
Too bad we can't do the roll around and backslice move from Wind Waker.
Yeah.
And Twilight Princess, actually.
Never thought I'd say it. We're not Pizza Joe. We're Gunkel. You can't use bombs on them, I think. I never explained the name Gunkel. Originally it was just going to be Gunk, but then it was also suggested the Linkle version of that. So Gunkel.
I know Gunkel's not Pizza Joe, but I feel like he'd at least be in his phone contacts.
Preemptive blink.
It blinks like, what?
You know what? I wouldn't hate P-hats if more attacks were just effective against them.
That's the easiest one.
Yep. Oh no! That's the one missing.
Hey, I'm glad you showed that off.
Dink.
That's what happens when they don't fit. I like to think it also repels both characters backwards.
I don't know how that works for the statue.
It breaks the rock anyway. Well, I guess you got one for free.
Oh, that's rude.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This is interesting. He ate 2 red rupees from me. Normally he would also drop a red rupee. I still got a profit, but he only dropped 50 rupees once I killed him. There's some interesting math to the likes.
I'm sure someone's charted it.
It's not difficult math, but yeah.
Well, so far it's X plus 10.
Yeah. There it is. The gold kinstones have the weirdest shapes. They're so happy.
Well, kinstones are meant to bring joy.
God knows those statues needed something to look forward to.
And now the music has changed a little bit.
It's a little bit cooler. Now that is an Armos.
Hey, that was mine.
I know they didn't look that special, but there is something interesting about them.
Yeah, the Minish mechanic plays into this, which is pretty cool. When I first saw that, I was, wow. And I'm teasing it because it's about to happen.
And yes, I know those are levers, not p-hats.
Right, so some of them are not alive.
But you notice that design on their shield. That looks like a ladder that a Minish could climb. Like this dude explains.
And if you didn't know that, right, he'll tell you.
So we actually need to turn them on and fight them in order to get them out of the way.
I don't know. It's really simple, but there's just something cool about it. I don't know. I like it.
It doesn't apply to many places. It does to a couple boss fights, which is weird.
Well, there is a... Well, I don't want to say. Okay, I won't say anything. There's something else similar to that later. I'll just say that. And that's pretty cool.
I wasted a lot of time in this screen.
There's got to be something here.
I think this is the first outdoor area where you had to kill all the enemies to progress.
This doesn't follow the rules.
And you can see there's another beanstalk bean. So there's not just the one, I think there's like 4.
Mm-hmm. You're just determined to find something.
So if you kill the ropes and cut the grass, this area is really simple.
The real players would go through the snake pit.
Where am I? Where am I? If you wait too long, they sort of reset, and then you need to bump up against them and reanimate them.
Well, you didn't need to. You could have just left him there. But no. We've got to kill everything. Gunkle the Slayer.
And yes, there's even more grass here. Now this is the area where we have to do the opposite. We actually need to shut one of these guys off. Not because we can't kill them. At least not these guys. That guy, when you get close, he quickly runs over to that passage and blocks it off. And we can't get around there.
Yeah, he never moves again, so...
And sort of as a hint, once you kill all the enemies, the blockade disappears, which means you're not supposed to kill that guy. Sort of a subtle hint. I wonder if they put that in there to clarify that. So reset, and without him seeing us, we go and shut him off. And we can't continue forward because there's grass blocking the way.
So are we to assume that the Armos were actually Minish mech suits? At least in my canon, they are.
Especially the big ones in Ocarina of Time. I knew it. I knew there was one of them here.
The exclamation point is covering up a swear word. Family friendly. Are we to the dungeon yet? Oh, yeah.
Yes. And that's just a shortcut back. On to Fortress of Winds.
To the Fortress of Earth, I mean winds.
The Fortress of Dirt everywhere.
Right. I was saying this between videos, but this whole dungeon feels more like an Earth temple to me, but hey, whatever.
There was a civilization here, and they disappeared. So I just imagine whatever this had to do with winds before, the old buildings just collapsed, so it's full of dirt now.
And hey, there's Stalfos now.
They function the same, although one thing I didn't know about until way later, you can't use a gust jar against them, it pulls their heads off.
Pretty metal way to do it.
There's something so rude about an ice switch.
So this whole dungeon has a real, like, crypt vibe to it.
See, they all died.
Yeah, you're fighting off the undead remnants of an ancient civilization. Well, that's suspicious. Okay.
Yeah, not super powerful. Oh, there's a buzzer. But I already have the boomerang. Yeah.
Yay.
There's another way to tell.
How do you stun something with no head?
Well, haven't you ever been kicked in the gut?
Fair point.
Don't worry, we will be able to do something about all the dirt. So we've got two doors here, each with their own set of 2 ice switches. You need to hit both ice switches quickly. Otherwise they're reset. But you don't need to hit all 4 to open all the doors. At least not all 4 at once.
You're doing a great job so far.
I'm just worrying about other things. Oops. There we go. Now this room is required in order to get a key. I don't realize that, mostly because I think that the puzzle to get through here is more complicated than it is. I just need to move those blocks. That's it. I don't realize that. It was because I reached this point and I overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
I will be coming back.
So, I've talked a lot about how the music in the game is pretty good, but I will say that this dungeon theme seems really uninspired to me.
It's a bit repetitive.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one.
Here's one of the cases where you have to do a dance in order to make your double. It's a wasted opportunity. You'll notice we can't use any other items than our sword when we ever double out. It'd be kind of cool to be able to use 2 bows at once.
Oh, yeah. I feel like once you get to the point where you can split into 4, that would just be too overpowered.
Well, they can't all aim at the same thing.
Well, you'd be shooting a wall of like 4 arrows across the entire screen.
But unfortunately, when you have a double or however many out, the R button just cancels it. So like you can't roll, you can't do anything. It's a bit limiting.
You can use your sword.
But that's about it. Feels like for something, since the Four Swords games, I think they were reasonably popular. Or at least people liked them. Feels like they could have done something more interesting with the mechanic as you develop it in this game.
So one thing I think this game does well besides the really great sprite work is coloring.
Yeah.
This dungeon shows it. I mean, the music's pretty bad, but the coloring is really great here. Because, I mean, considering some games on the GBA look pretty terrible, this one looks really good.
I do wonder how much of this was Nintendo and how much was Capcom.
Yeah.
For the whole game, not just the sprite work, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did also work on the Oracle games.
Right, and I feel like the Oracle games had some good parts to them that were because Capcom was there. The music was one of it. Maybe.
Nah. Oh, hello, welcome to my house.
What are you doing with that boomerang? Oh, no.
Oh, good, Moldorms.
They're just as easy to kill here.
At least Moldorm, the boss, isn't in this game.
For once.
Gotta make friends. But I don't have enough space because that Armos is blocking one of them. Let me in.
Please move, sir.
Why did they make the meter so... Well, I guess so you would have enough time once you have the double made, but...
Mm-hmm. There are ways to make that faster. You'll get to them later.
I like that it lights a little torch in them.
It's their brain.
Put some fire in your head. Kill then, pull the really long switch, and it drops the key all the way to the bottom.
Son of a bitch. Eslo, you could have caught that. Come on.
And you might have noticed there was a little Minish hole down there. So we can drop down there as a Minish. Thankfully we're ant-sized and they can fall at terminal velocity and not die. Now it ended up taking me a long time, but you can get out of here.
To say, I don't think that there are many dungeons in the Zelda universe that actually have pieces of heart inside of them.
No. I feel like this is one of the few games. I think every dungeon has 2. So this is really easy, and it didn't occur to me. You want to move that bottom one out of the way so that you can make a horizontal double.
Now you're thinking with doubles.
Now you're thinking with right angles.
Do you think you talk to your ghost doppelganger while he's there?
He's thinking the same thing I am. And every time I try to talk to him, he just turns around and talks to the space next to him.
I mean, your doppelganger's wearing a hat too. Does that mean there's 2 Eslos? It's a very dangerous proposition.
Come here, kid!
Hey, hey, hey!
Now imagine this is time. Oh, I like the little animation when you look on the map with the level. Oh, first, Wallmaster. When you look on the map, the floor with the boss has a skull and it's moving its jaw up and down.
Very cool.
Yeah, this is one of the few dungeons that actually has wall masters, and there are floor masters later. They don't turn up in very many dungeons, but they function the same as all the others.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, level 2.
Can you defeat my second form?
So bombs are really useful against them. If you can get them to walk over the bomb, like if it blows up in front of them, they can block it. But if it blows up behind them, it does a little bit of damage to them, and it stuns them, so you can get a quick hit on them.
So much easier the second time around.
Whoa. Nope. I don't care. Tanking.
Oh, sure. We'll just brute force it.
I'm usually so terrified of taking hits, I've never really thought about being a tank.
Not a lot about the Zelda franchise encourages you to tank things. I mean, I guess when you get into the late game and you have 2 rows of full hearts,
Yeah.
it's easy to do that, but hey, look what we got!
This is another one of the unique items in the game. Like the Kanepachi, there's not many uses for it that aren't immediately laid out for you, but it is kind of interesting. We use this to dig basically through the ground in front of us. Like, we don't dig down very often.
Mm-hmm. You can dig like it's the shovel, though, out in the overworld.
There's just nothing special for you to find. You might find hearts and rupees, but
Yeah.
there's never any important secrets buried down.
So this item comes back, too, in Skyward Sword.
Yeah, same as a Gust Jar.
And unlike the Gust Jar, it works almost the same way in that game.
Yeah. That is a timed bridge.
Shut up, God! You did nothing!
There's the Floor Masters. I'm glad the bow and arrow takes them out in one hit, though, if you can hit them.
Right. The bow and arrow in this game is really slow.
Usually I'm a sniper, but only when I can aim.
Right. Where's the laser target upgrade for this thing?
Custom scope. I like this.
Now this is kind of clever.
The haircut.
Isn't there a Zelda game that actually does give you something close to a scope on your bow?
Yeah, the eagle mask in Twilight Princess.
Ah, right. That's right.
So this is clever. We gotta make a double on the very bottom and then go on the very top. The thing is, there are statues in the way. So basically, we gotta make these statues sort of face a mirror version of what we ultimately form with our double, so we can get around them.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't... What? Oh. There we go.
Yay.
And once the key's down, it can't go back up. It's weird that there's only one room with a wall master.
Right. There's so many in this dungeon, too.
We don't need to go back yet. First, we want to head back to this Minish portal. Can't get through the skulls, even though we're clearly small enough to fit through them.
Yeah, right. Someone's a little arbitrary.
Oops.
We missed our window of opportunity there.
Bad cycling.
Obviously, we've need to restart the speed run. We failed that. Not getting a world record at this pace.
That drops a key down into the dirt. So you can sort of tell where something will be.
Yeah. And something you don't want to dig up.
There wasn't any secrets in there, but other rooms like this, there might be something hidden. You need to pay attention in the dirt if there's a little patch.
That Moldorm had a kinstone on it. You could have fused with it first.
Aw, he had no luck.
I'm the guardian of the seashell.
Surprise! Happy birthday! Ah!
Hello, hello.
And we saw it earlier, we want to drop on the right side.
Time to go kill something.
But first, secrets. There's something blocking me there. It's a chest.
Something fun about the digging animation. I just, like, Gunkel's just so gung-ho about it.
Oh look, our favorite.
Can you fight a Wizrobe?
Yes, they're very easy.
Yeah, they're not hard in this game at all.
They get obnoxious later.
Yeah, right. There's a certain dungeon later on that's full of them.
And they get elemental powers, at which point they truly become bastards. I'm looking around. There's still some stuff I hadn't seen over here. Sometimes it's a red herring.
The rupee like is just still waiting there. Maybe he'll fall for it a second time.
They're still sitting there giggling to each other. Wait till he gets this!
Right. It's kind of funny. When you come back to a floor that you've cleared, they are obvious. Even more so than usual.
And heading up the other way. That one's a more obvious chest. Getting around this guy without getting hit is a little tricky.
Right.
So just use the boomerang. Which I probably did because my health's back to full. Statue's thinking, oh, what a sucker. Oh no, what are you doing?
So many kinstones in this dungeon.
Yeah. Wait a damn minute. That was blatant.
I know. That's okay, it's just your portal in case you die. And you're not gonna die, because this is pro.
Nah. Also, luckily, I'm anal retentive, so of course I noticed that. Boss time. Look at that.
That's a badass looking boss.
Old school Meso Americana going on here. And of course, we need a boss who's just a head and two hands.
Yeah, I know. It's the Zelda staple. It's got to be in at least some of the games. It's in the contract. There's that one from Wind Waker. There's the Bongo Bongo. There's this one.
At least this guy's a pretty dynamic fight.
Yeah, this is a cool boss fight. I probably said it earlier, but this game has some pretty cool boss fights, so... It's not really obvious to you, but you need to shrink down.
Yeah, once you've knocked out his hands, he gets stunned for a bit, and then you can go in his mouth. Inside here, one of these pillars is glowing, and that's the one you need to attack. But then you get crane gamed out, and you have to do it again.
Right, so this is what I was talking about earlier when we were with the Arma statues that takes that concept to the next level, and I really think this is cool.
Yeah. And also it gets a little more treacherous, because as you go on, you get even less of a window to attack the eyeballs.
Right, it also gets harder inside as well.
I've had those moments where I've hurt my hand and I've just been stunned.
Right.
Also, that's what I was talking about. I was trying to roll and I just ended up growing again.
It's okay, I'll wait. So now we gotta dig.
And we don't have that much time, so we gotta quickly find the glowing one. There it is.
And we're just gonna... There we go.
No, I don't want to...
Get out!
It's nice of him to wait.
I gotta set up the part 3.
Hang on, I'll dig his eyeball out. Oh, he blocked it. Or maybe I just hit the side of it.
Oh wow, I don't think I've ever seen him do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had eye lasers.
Oh good, more of these.
Well, that's your arrow restock because you might run out.
Give me 5. Or 4.
Put it there, brother.
Now get a little tricky. If you get hit with those lasers, they actually do something. Not just hurt you.
Oh, the burning one, right? It'll set you on fire.
No, it'll turn you into a Minish.
Say what? Wow, that's odd.
And that's a little bit of a time waster.
I don't know why. I've never seen him do the eye laser thing. That's weird.
Maybe you're just faster than I was.
I guess, I don't know. Only ever had him smash and do the spider thing. Oh wow, that was lucky.
I got pretty lucky at this last one.
I'm gonna get out before he explodes.
And suddenly I'm tall again. Pretty cool boss fight.
Yeah.
And I think that's a full row of hearts.
Hey, we found the bird sanctuary.
Wait a damn minute, where's the element?
Oh, they're not here. It's the Ocarina of Time. Oh, of Wind.
Of wind. So all of those, they looked like graves that were just blowing up. They were markers. We can use this ocarina to fast travel now.
Yay. Which is pretty good. We're, I think about halfway through now.
Yeah, this is about the halfway point.
So, getting fast travel halfway through is pretty good.
But that also means we don't get the wind element. That's actually going to be the last element we get.
Fuck you, we took the element.
And I guess it's appropriate that the green one is, if it wasn't the first one we get, at least the last. Might as well.
Yay, it has the Link to the Past song.
Yep. And Link to the Past bird. Well, it's probably the same one, but...
I've been carrying your ass for decades. Okay, Eslo, I think we got it. You think we can kinstone with Zephyr?
Also, don't hurt my brain in retaliation.
Okay, Miss Teacher Lady.
She'll let us in later. after a point.
Right. Well, that was a pretty cool dungeon, pretty cool boss fight. Lackluster music, I give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'd give it an 8 too. Mostly because I played and I know how long it took to get around.
The moments are kind of fun. I mean, they're situationally useful, but they're kind of fun. But now you can explore all those little caves with the dirt chunks in front of them.
That's right, and you wouldn't think it, but those are all involved in getting more of the Gorons to show up. And also we need to get through one in order to get to Knuckle.
Knuckles? Knuckle.
We have to dig with our spike mitts to get to Knuckles.
Right.
Because, yeah. I wonder if that was going on in their minds at all.
I don't know.
Probably not.
Who knows?
But next time, that's going to be the next 2 parts of just collecting shit. So much in this game. At the very least, next time we will get a really useful item, a story necessary item, but one that makes getting around a lot less treacherous. And then in the part after that, we get an upgrade to one of our current weapons, one that makes it even more treacherous.
Right. The world is becoming more dangerous, and we are growing with it. Also, look for the next episode where we finally kinstone fuse with Eslo.
Just shove it in there.
Hey!
Hey, Eslo! The inside of your windpipe looks like another half of a kinstone.
Eslo is dead now.
It does bring good luck.